tuned into Bradford. This is Drive Time on BCB 106.6 FM.
Where it's just gone 5:15. Now think just how stressful it is going to a supermarket. You've got to remember what to buy, you've got to go in the shop, there's music, there's tannoy announcements, there's people running around. It can be very stressful for any of us, but for someone who's living with autism, it can be even more stressful. So a new scheme's been started working with Morrisons with the idea of a quiet hour, a time of day where the lights will be that little bit more dim, there'll be less music, there'll be fewer distractions, and it's a more pleasant environment, particularly for someone who is living with autism. So joining us now, I've got three people from the organisation Specialist Autism Services: David Newell, Abigail, Simmonds and Will Quick. So David, first of all, I think you've had some experience before actually doing this kind of thing at the White Rose Centre.
Yeah, well, a couple of months ago we organised a autism-friendly shopping hour in White Rose, and a lot of the stores there were contributing by reducing kind of like the ambient noise that you would have, subdued lighting and easier access for people with autism as well, and we got a lot of positive feedback from that.
Now we might, all of us, find that it's a bit annoying going into a shop where there's loud music or flashing lights or anything like that, but what does it actually do to someone who's got a condition like autism?
It can be extremely distressing, and it can kind of like isolate you as well, and to be kind of like sensorily overwhelmed by all of kind of those sights and sounds, temperatures, can be sometimes overwhelming, and it can kind of reduce people's engagement with their community.
So Abigail, how did this idea come about then to work with Morrisons on this?
Well, I actually run a cookery workshop over at the Leeds branch, and we had a lot of feedback around how difficult it is to access supermarkets. A lot of our members who attend, so they actually visit during the night because that's the only time that they feel comfortable. So the idea is to be able to access supermarkets in a quieter environment and more appropriate.
So what do you people you work with, what do they say it feels like to go into a supermarket when it's too overwhelming? What does it actually do inside someone's head?
So a lot of people feel like they'd really just completely shut down altogether, and you could have potentially somebody sat on the floor and just needing to wear a jacket over their head because there is so much sensory input from light, noise, smell, the heat. So it was completely shut down.
Okay. So David, how did you find Morrisons responded when you went to them with this idea?
Well, it wasn't our idea as such, but certainly over the past week we've been asked to feedback a lot on it. And on Saturday I went to the Morrisons Centre store in Leeds, met the manager there, Simon, who taught me through kind of all the little details, really loving kind of like the details such as staff having their mobile phones on vibrate, taking the beeping noise down on self-service aspects of the till, lighting reduced by a third, like I said, no tannoy announcements, fewer staff on the shop floor unpacking and wheeling trolleys around so it doesn't feel as crowded. So they've really thought it through, and you know, to do something like this across the board throughout the UK is brilliant. I think it's a really, really good attempt to engage with people with autism, and certainly the feedback we've been having so far through our social media is very positive.
And I imagine it's good business sense anyway, because just give us an idea, how many people are we talking about? It's not one or two, is it?
No, you're talking UK-wide. There's estimated to be somewhere around 700,000 people with autism. So like the autistic pound, if you wanted to call it that, is kind of like a huge valuable aspect to tap into, and to include people within their shopping is a great thing to do.
And frankly, Abigail, do you think that perhaps supermarkets have been ignoring this in the past?
Potentially, yes, they could have done this. I know a lot of our members that have joined my cookery group have gained confidence to go, whereas before they joined the SAS workshops, they might have never gone into supermarkets independently. So we're giving them a whole new quality of their life where they can do things and make independent choices.
Brilliant. Well, let's bring Will Quick in at this point, because Will, you're hoping this could go even further beyond the idea of a shopping hour into employment opportunities?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things which I do is support adults with autism who are moving towards employment, and one of the things which some people find is that they have to have the right environment around them. So if a employer can just think about things like levels of lighting or how to reduce background noise, it's positive for the person with autism, but it's generally more positive for the people in the workforce as a whole. Like for other people, having a flickering light, say, it's an annoyance, but for someone with autism it can be actually a real barrier to them being able to like concentrate on what they're being paid to do. So if we start making more autism friendly environments in supermarkets, in offices, in factories, warehouses, it can be good for the people with autism, but it can be good for the employees in general.
It sounds like everyone benefits. I've got to admit, I'd rather like to go shopping when there's fewer distractions and fewer people out on the floor and this kind of thing.
We kind of did point it out, the fact that I can't think of an example where someone has gone into a shop and complained to say, excuse me, that Blink 182 track wasn't loud enough. I think an autism-friendly environment is an everyone-friendly environment, it really is.
So is it like anything else? I mean, I see today you're wearing a Pride lanyard around your neck at the moment. So it's the idea then of the idea of it being more inclusive generally is a good thing for businesses.
Absolutely, I think it is, and particularly either whether that person is a customer or, as Will's just said, a potential employee. The fact Morrisons are sending this message out that we're being autism friendly to our customers, like I said, hopefully the next step is being autism friendly to employees as well, which would be great.
And what do you say to other supermarkets, to Asda and Tesco and Sainsbury's? What do you say to them? Well,
they've kind of like had the gauntlet thrown down for them. I know others have kind of like done one-offs. They did Meadowhall, Marks and Spencer's did kind of like a one-off shopping hour there, and it's great that they've had these things in isolation, but to say, right, we're going to have this every Saturday, brilliant.
Okay, well, David, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
That's David Newell, with also Abigail Simmonds and Will Quick, all from Specialist Autism Services. Thanks for talking to us here on Drive.
Thanks
a lot.
Thank you.
From the heart of Bradford, this is BCB 106.6.